you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
This is an A.H.A.D moment, calm before the storm. I'm Fakir Abdulaziz, hosting the show, and with me, actually I should say I'm a sub-host, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem. You know, I definitely, I'm a believer, as I believe all of you A.H.A.D believers who are joining with us are that, and we're going to give you more of the information, the divine information, the very real information of the true Lord of all worlds, and its manifested reality, its messenger of this day and this time, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen. Lord, we were talking about, we were wrestling over a subject. I was given to wrestle over a subject, and I wrestled out something that had been discussed to us by you about the foolishness, or the foolishness of being false, not being real. You know, folly of not being real. How truth. Maybe we can just open up and share with the audience, if you will, Lord, what you were sharing with us about that.
All right, first I'd like to thank you for the introduction, because it do seem like you be faking. But,
yeah, well, that's on the resume.
It's on the resume.
That was on the resume. Fake. Yes.
But what we was talking about was facade, you know, faking in your life, not just your religion, but your life as a whole. Most people don't realize that their religion, you know, is involved in everything that they do. And how, you know, like we separate our practice in regards to the format of the religion, or the form of religion, the path. And we make it something different from our general life happening. And that's a mistake that people make, you know. The format of our religion should extend to every part of our being, every aspect of our lives, you know. And one of the proofs, like they say, you know, in the hood, proof is in the pudding. You know, if you say you want to accomplish a thing, after a period of time, you will have accomplished that thing if you truly wanted to accomplish that thing. If that thing was made possible for you to accomplish. Because you have a lot of people who say they want to accomplish something, but, you know, you see them 20 years later, and they still tell you that they tried to accomplish that, you know. And it kind of like, you know, it's next to you. It makes you hate the word try when you hear somebody use it. You know, I know because I went through a change like that myself with some people I've dealt with when they kept telling me, I'm trying, brother, I'm trying, you know. I knew that try meant I'm not trying, you know. It's like just something that's, you know, put there to cover up what they're really doing.
Just the form of what, just part of that false form. Just, I'm gonna try. Oh, everything is okay. Everything is not okay. Just like practiced answers, things that they get back to. Lord, you were talking about how people in religion, you know, how they get into their rituals. Every religion has the rituals of prayer, of gathering, of fasting, the different type of rituals. But those rituals are only done at certain times. Friday, Saturday, Sunday for congregational, the month of Ramadan, or the month of the time of Lent for the Christians for fasting. You said when we make reality of our way of life always, every day, every minute of our time, by doing that, that is what we say the prescription by practicing to become real, getting used to being real, accepting how normal it is to be real, and getting away from how normal it is to be false.
Well, one thing that Allah has provided me with in terms of information is that Your religion is your very life. Now, in the formats that it has given people through the messengers, those formats are truly personal. And why I say personal, even though it's a public thing, maybe a worldwide thing, it's still personal because your prayers are really acts of self-hypnosis. But see, people waste their prayers because prayers become the actual issue or the actual aim. They think, oh, if I'm in religion, I gotta pray this way. If I'm in, Islam, I gotta pray a certain format. If I'm in Christianity, I gotta pray another format. But they don't understand the fact of the matter that prayer wasn't the end of the aim. It's part of the prescription. It's part of the mode of traveling in your vehicle to get to a goal. So therefore, prayer, when you say, oh Allah, or oh Lord Jesus, or oh Christ, or oh Buddha, or oh Muhammad, I don't care who you pray to, that's a form of self-hypnosis. Now that falls into the realm of psychology. Wasn't you in school for psychology? They didn't tell you anything in that?
Let's talk about religion.
But they did talk about self-hypnosis, or what's the other terminology they use for that? It's another term that they use when you actually
like mass suggestion or something.
Yeah. It's a form of auto-suggestion, so to speak. That's what they use in the psychic formats, They call it auto-suggestion, but it's self-hypnosis. It's constantly trying to get yourself to a state of intoxication, right? Where you will get involved. But now, if you just try to reach that state, then it's a waste. But if you try to reach that state so that you may come out and have that spirit to carry you along on a continuous basis in your life, then you're affecting something. Then you're perfecting something. You're reaching, stages in the goal. And after you seduce yourself or suggest to yourself so many times, and you get the motion moving, it's just like an athlete practicing his, athletic craft. He keep practicing, and he's get, so involved, and it becomes like a form of self-hypnosis. And when they get out into the game, they be so involved, and it's like the force take them over. And then they say, man, it seemed like the basket was so big. The basket didn't grow, but they became so pointed, so involved that they became one with that intent to achieve, and everything became magnified. You see? So they couldn't miss, so to speak, And that's the way it is with religion, You're supposed to get so involved that the force becomes your life. It takes you over, and you do things automatically. Now, when Allah talks to us in the Holy Quran through Prophet Muhammad, it always said, it spoke mostly about blessing those who remembered it, much more so than what it spoke about those who prayed much. Prayer was to get you to the form of remembrance, And if you could remember it more and be of it more in that remembrance, because remembrance means to be joined, remember to be a member again, to be joined, then you will be a better person on a continuous basis, on a more consistent basis. And as time goes on, that practice becomes so much so that your formal prayer becomes less than your actual praise of it. Your actual realization that you are of it, that you are in it, that it is life itself, and that you're responding to it, as it moves you along in life. Then Allah be everything for you. The Creator becomes everything for you, your realization. And by you doing this, you come into a realm of appreciation for it. Now, once you appreciate it, it appreciates you. Now, when we look into the word of appreciation, we know that it represents, it favors you, and it raises you up in value. So once you raise it up in value and recognize it in everything, then you become one of remembrance and one of prayer, more so than your 5 times a day prayer or your daily prayer as a Christian. You become one that is locked in praise of it. You see? And your prayers become your very words and your acts, your deeds.
Though I remember we broke down, you broke down for us, Ahezaah. Thank Ahezaah much for it. A true definition of remembrance. Not necessarily a mind recollecting of remembering Ahezaah or thinking of Ahezaah, but actually reattaching yourself to Ahezaah, the reality of Ahezaah being present. And as you were giving the explanation, but then I used to call you to explain it even more fully, so I didn't have to ask the question or make the comment. I remember when Holy Queen Mother, showing Holy Queen Mother, Rabbi was sitting with us, and she was reminding us of how you got to always remain aware. She could be aware that Ahezaah is present, that Allah is always present, is always there, is always involved, and observing everything that you do and what you do. And by doing so, you make yourself cognizant. Just keep reminding yourself, remembering to go to prayer or to thank Ahezaah much for whatever it's brought to you, whether you think it's a blessing or whether you even think that it's a chastisement. Just being conscious that Ahezaah knows best, that Allah does, is present with you all the time. That would be that remembrance. That would be or the beginning of that.
Well, that falls into the realm of that self-hypnosis, actually. Constantly trying to remember Ahezaah. But Ahezaah, Allah gives us something very beautiful. It don't just speak to us through the angels, or speak to us through certain messengers, or speak to us through our own conscious being, because it does speak to us through our own personal conscious being. Everybody hears the voice of the Lord El, but everybody don't recognize the voice of the Lord El, and everybody hears the voice of their own soul, but they don't recognize it, In other words, they don't bring it back into the rejoining of their own mind, to the acknowledgement of what it actually is. So as a blessing, it leaves books, it leaves writings for us in our languages, but then, you have people who be so involved with the other, that they're taken off and taken away from the aim of what the books are set down for, what they're left, what their purpose is, and they try to put some spin to it, so to speak, where their minds become more important than the words of the Lord, which is the mind of the Lord. A manifestation, a sign, a show of the mind of the Lord. Now, when we talk about the books that the Lord sent out, we talk about living words. Some of the words of the Lord are dead to men. Realization of the Lord is dead to men, some men. But in the opening, where it reintroduces itself to you and reintroduce you to an awareness of the inner realms, those words become alive. And then that book becomes something else. Those books, like in the Holy Quran in chapter 2, Ahezaah said through Prophet Muhammad, that is the book, in it there is no doubt. And men translated that to say, this is the book, in it there is no doubt. And Muhammad knew that Ahezaah Allah was talking about the book in heaven. that's seated beneath its throne. But he pointed to the Jews when he was talking to the Jews, the Hebrews who had the Torah, that is the book. It's a part of it. It's a part of that great book. So men who fancy their own minds as being more important and great, they came behind him and said, no, he said this is the book. Knowing that in Arabic it does not say this is the book, because that only points to the Holy Quran. Now, if you are one who are truly of faith, truly sincere in your studies, your passion for Ahezaah, one thing about Ahezaah, it does not lie to its servants who believe. It does not send you on a false path. It relieves you and retrieves you and receives you, and it appraises you. And what it gives to you. And it would teach every individual that it is the speaker of those words of that book, and that they must receive that book, whatever book it, leaflet come down in the same manner that the messengers received it. That the Lord must speak to them through their soul. Must speak to them for them to have the right understanding. You can have understanding, but you need the right understanding to move forward. And the only one that could give you the right understanding is the righteous. The only one that can make you understand what's been told to you or what you say is the one that gives you life to live, because its words are to be lived. So if we don't understand the book that is sent down as the balance for every book is sent before, then what is that book good for us? The Lord don't want us to get locked up in Islam and stay right in Islam. And when I say that, I say that with hopes that the Muslims don't misinterpret what I'm saying. It don't want us locked up in the mindset that men create about Islam. It sends down things to free us, to bring us to its realm of free, where we know that it is the only free, and we have the peace, the peace of it in our lives. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
And that we could eat its words, the essence of its words. We could see its words, the essence of its words. We could hear its words. Just yesterday I was cutting some wood. Wood was very thin. And as I was cutting it, because I was out of ways from the base of what I had established on, it was making all these noises. And I heard music. Literally heard music that I'm going to give to somebody to lay down. That's right. As part of a performance.
That's part of, you said the Lord speaks to us through all forms.
Oh, through all forms. Speaking then through the wind and the vibrations of sound through that wood being cut.
Right.
And I mean, it was different variations, and I was like, whoa. It's just fortunate that, because Allah has made me a hearer, I heard other things to go along with music.
Well, you're referring to the people that come into approaching Ahezaah's reality, whether it's in his words or whether it's its use of its creation, a piece of wood or whatever. But they come in with their own minds. They come in with their own ideas that they get an understanding, or they can give a better understanding of Ahezaah to whomever they want to give it to. I'm trying to look at how that ties into their being false. Are they being false about themselves, or they're being false about their true view?
Yes, because you have to understand what a true believer is. Ahezaah said in the Holy Quran, don't say that you're a believer because you yet to know what belief is. If you don't live in the light of Christ, see, I can say that with confidence. Muslims say, what do you mean Christ? Astaghfirullah. And Christians say, oh yeah, he's becoming a Christian. And both of the groups offend Allah. you know. But the thing about it, if you don't understand what the light of Christ is, the light of Noor, the crusher, the purifier, you know, the giver of life and the giver of death, the fire, the absolute fire of hell is Christ. And see, some people jump. Wow, what is he talking about? He just associated Christ with hell. There's only one reality, one truth, one light, one. So now you're going to tell me there's two? I say to you that it has variations, manifestations of itself in various forms. It's the multifarious thing. And it is the same power in the light and fire of hell as it is in the light and fire of the angels. I said once, I was having a class about 20 years ago, I believe. No, it wasn't even that long, about 15 years ago. And at that time, I had a brother who used to bring people up to, you know, he claimed to be my friend. He used to bring people up to defeat me. So he brought a brother up, and the brother stayed in my throat, scared me, man. You know, because I thought he was trying to find out what I ate the night before. You know what I'm saying? And every time, I mean, you ever see somebody like that? They looking right down your throat, man. And literally, this guy was looking for me to say a wrong word. And he kept doing that for months. And Allah said to me, I was speaking, and I said, the angels are made of fire. And he said, astaghfirullah. Angels are not made of fire, they're made of light, pure light. You know. And as I was saying it, before he even said anything, as I was saying it, because for those of you who understand my relationship with Ahezaah, there's more going on inside of me than you know. I was saying to Allah, oh Allah, why are you having me say this? Because I hate being wrong, you know. Well, Allah took me back to something that it said to me in the beginning when I had lost my Holy Quran, and I would never lose the Holy Quran. Well, I really, truly still think that Allah took it to another world, you know. But it had been telling me some things, and I had been going to that Holy Quran to verify what it was saying. And it said to me, what are you doing? I said, Father, you keep telling me all these things that I ain't read before. And I got to go and say this to these people, and it's messing with my head, you know? And it said, but I am the author of that book. It said, I have raised you above the book. And I said, oh no, how can I say this to the Muslims? I know they're coming after me now. And it simply said, I am the Lord of all worlds. I don't do as I please. I have raised you above that book. I have given you more than what I've said in the course of this book. I've sent down many books. You think I'm limited to this book? I will limit my servant, my message. I give you what I give you to need. And I give you to need more than what's written in this book. And I raise you near to me than I've raised Gabriel in this operation. So,
one thing, the reality of Ahezaah.
Let me just say this here. Because I have to stop for a moment. Sometimes Allah take me so deep, I'm like, but I've jumped off the diving board already. I'm ready to jump again. I've jumped and I haven't landed in that ocean down there yet. But the thing about it is that when you put your own mind to Ahezaah's work, then you have interfered. When you put your own mind to Ahezaah's work, to its word, you have interfered. Okay? When you go into its holy book, what you're supposed to do is to ask it, the Lord, to excuse you for your frailty and have mercy on you and don't punish you for the stupidity of what you're about to do, because you know you're going to go in that book and you're going to mix your stupid mind up with what it said, because you're a human being. So we supposed to ask it, please have mercy on us. Bless us to hear you. Bless us to seek your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding, the peace of you. Bless us to come out of there, out of your word, when we return, to come out safe. But see, most people, they go into the book and they just throw it open like, you know, I'm gonna get some dawah out of here and I'm gonna throw it down on you, and you know, or like the Christians that I'm going to hear the Lord said to me and cut and paste. What one of the things that disturbed me today, yeah, they cut and paste the Bible like it's no tomorrow. 1 Corinthians said blah blah blah, and Psalm said blah blah blah, and Deuteronomy said blah 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 blah, and they get up a whole sentence of all them different prophets in different ages and different times to put together what they want to say. If I want to do that, I could go into the Bible and come out, take a word from this page, a word from that page, and create my own sentence. Huh? The Lord only gives hell. Where you get that from? Out of the Bible. How you get that out of the Bible? I cut and paste.
First Corinthians.
Huh? Well, people do that with the Holy Quran, the Vedas, Upanishads, Sanskrit. They do it with all the holy books. They go into it and take what's comfortable for their mind, what they're looking for, and then they bring it out to the people and say, this is what it is. They interfere. Your mind should not try to go into the mind of the Lord dirty. You should try to do what Jesus said. Jesus said you need to die and be reborn again to become innocent and pure like the babies, to reach the Lord Most High in a righteous manner. And that I have to excuse myself from our New York audience. You know,
you do it so well. I noticed you in the previous shows.
Hey,
how well
what
you
can
do
I
it.
say, man?
But,
you know, you only a fake host. I'm the real host. You know?
but
Y'all know what the deal is.
We'll complete this conversation in the next week.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right?